Hello and welcome to the Daily Meal for Tuesday, the 16th of August, 2022. Today was a match day, and to paraphrase Chumbawamba, we go two down, but we come back again. You're never going to keep us down. We go two down, and we come back again. You're never going to keep us down. Pissing your lead away. You pissing your lead away. And that is, of course, I have not gone crazy. If you didn't know, we drew at Swansea. But what a draw it was. Of course, we did the obligatory. We went 2 goals down within 15 minutes of the start of the match, of course, you know. As we have been doing this season so far in literally 3 games so far, which is obviously a problem. But the players came back, and when they actually started going forward with the last 20 minutes of the game left, they started pinging balls into the 6-yard box, causing problems, and forced Swansea to score 2, not 1, but 2 own goals. 2 own goals. In, I think it was a 93rd minute and a 95th. Yeah, it was a crazy game, absolutely crazy. So this is the match report from news@den.co.uk. And then before we get into it, you can see we are still 4th in the table. Obviously, there are teams yet to play tomorrow, but as of Wednesday morning, we are still 4th in the table. So Mill snatched a point from the jaws of defeat in a stunning 2-2 draw at Swansea City. The Lions were 1-0 down inside the opening minute of the game, as an unmarked Ryan Manning was afforded too much space down the left, allowing him to fire a shot past Bartosz Białkowski for an early lead. It would be 2-0 just over 12 minutes later as Michael Obafemi got in on the act, bursting past Jacob to put the hosts into a comfortable lead. Mill began to look more comfortable but failed to really threaten throughout the game. 3 minutes into stoppage time, however, Ben Cabango turned the ball into his own net to give the visitors a lifeline. Almost the last kick of the game, it happened once again as Scott Malone's cross looped over everyone, meeting Swansea defender Nathan Wood at the back post. He too was forced to turn it into his own net, securing a stunning stoppage time comeback in South Wales. And it was the draw that most people expected, because if you saw yesterday's video, I told you in the preview, Swansea haven't won at home for X amount of games. Millwall haven't won away for X amount of games. Nailed on draw. I thought it would be a 0-0 draw. I didn't realise it was going to be this kind of draw. An absolutely amazing comeback by Millwall. Some fantastic performances, some shrewd substitutions, and also as well, like I said, when the 5 substitutes rule was announced, I said in the video, these teams that when they go up by goals, make substitutions and just start to defend, they're going to come unstuck, because you could be facing as many as 5 fresh attacking players. And if you're just going to try and defend, not do anything going forward, you have got another thing coming. And we had, Vogel Sammer came on for his debut. He hit the bar. He looked pretty decent. Not bad for like a debut. Saville came on. We had Olofi on the bench. There was attacking players on the bench. Match details. Millwall struggled to start games well so far this season. They were 2-0 down away at Sheffield United after 22 minutes and 2-0 down at home to Coventry after 30 minutes. But the Lions were in a far worse predicament in South Wales. Yes. Swansea pushed forward as soon as they gained possession of the ball at the start of the game. They pushed forward down the right, with Millwall unable to clear the danger. Oliver Nchan leaped up to head the ball into the path of Ryan Manning, who was left unmarked down the left flank. He took a touch, smashed the ball past Bartosz Białkowski to give the hosts the lead after just 52 seconds. The Swans kept pushing. 3 minutes later, Nchan forced Białkowski into a low save with a curling effort. He parried the rebound into the path of Joel Latibudier, who somehow managed to sky his shot over the open goal in front of him. For a brief moment, it looked like Millwall would get themselves back into the game on the 9th minute, Tyler Berry threatened down the left, but his effort was blocked and bobbled over to Bennett Baby. The striker failed to find space to get shot away, but was able to set up Jamie Shackleton, who smacked the crossbar. Ping! 3 minutes later, the Lions would find themselves 2-0 down for the third time in a week and a half. Michael Obafemi picked up the ball on the edge of the area and took on Jake Cooper, cutting in and out before the space opened up for him. Rushed past the Mill skipper. From there, he was able to take aim at goal, firing past Biakowski to double his side's lead. The visitors managed to slow the game down by making it incredibly physical. Lataboudiere had to be stretched off after Mario Wallace shoved him into an advertising board. Ouch. A move which didn't even see the hosts win a free kick. Shackleton and Afobe were both presented with chances as the half went on, but neither could hit the target, while Bury and Billy Mitchell picked up bookings for fouls just before the break. It was a half that showed Mill's immense frustration. The Lions hardly touched the ball, with Swansea boasting 65% possession by the time the half-time whistle was blown. That percentage decreased at the start of the second half, as Mill seemed to calm down. Mitchell slipped as he took aim from distance 2 minutes after the restart, but his shot nearly caught Fisher off his line, winning a corner. Unfortunately for the visitors, that would be the closest they would come during their extended spell on the ball. After 65 minutes, Honeyman fired a shot at goal from the right side of the box. Manning rushed to block it, with the Lions winning the corner. However, they were furious that a penalty wasn't given, believing that the ball came off the Swansea man's hand. Scott Malone was booked for protesting, and the visitors were unable to capitalise after the resulting set piece. There were 2 occasions in that match when there was handballs by the Swansea player, and the ref was like, "What?" So just deserts that we ended up getting the goals that we got at the end, because that referee, come on, man, what's happening for that? Andreas of Voglosama was brought on for his Millwall debut 15 minutes ago, hitting a crossbar with an impressive chipped effort in the dying stages of the match. It looked like the Lions were dead and buried as the ball was lifted up for 5 minutes of stoppage time. We haven't even scored yet. We're into injury time. In the 3rd minute, McNamara's low cross was met by Swansea defender Harry Darling, who was forced to turn the ball into his own net to half the deficit. Smelling the chance of a stunning equaliser, the Lions pushed forward. It looked like they would run out of time, with the Swans keeping them at bay until the very end of the match. A ball was whipped towards the back post where Nathan Wood stood in the 95th minute to turn home a second home goal for the hosts. In pure pandemonium, the entirety of Mill's coaching staff and subs ran onto the pitch, with the Lions having snatched a stunning point from the jaws of defeat. And the team was Biakowski, McNamara, Cresswell, Cooper, Wallace, Malone, Mitchell, Shackleton, Honeyman, Bury, and Afobe. And Mill substitutes were, on the 64th minute, Ryan Leonard came on for Charlie Cresswell. George Saville came on for Jamie Shackleton, and Sean Hutchinson came on for Jake Cooper. And on the 75th minute, Andreas Vogelsammer came on for Billy Mitchell, and the unused substitutes were George Long, George Evans, and Isaac Alothi. So, takeaways. Another dreadful start. Mill keep finding ways to start worse and worse. Nobody thought that the Lions would concede earlier than Carl McFadzean's header on Saturday, but Manning managed to better it by more than a minute. It raises question marks about how focused the players in the early stages of these games, and how Rowett can mend that ahead of Friday's match in Norwich. I think this has been going on for a while, to be honest. You know what it is? You remember back in the old days, in the good old days, players would come out, they would run out, they would go to the pitch, the side of the pitch where they were warming up, and then the ref would blow the whistle. The captains would come to the middle, everyone would line up in their positions, and the match would start. Now we've got this fucking shit where you've got to all line up, then you got to walk past the other team, shake their hand, hello, how you doing, have a good game, good game, and all that bullshit. Since they've started doing that, our starts have been slow. But they've been doing it for a number of years, so should have really got used to that by now. But what can we do? Give everyone an espresso as they head out onto the pitch. Give them a Viagra. That'll get them going. I don't know what can you do. Instead of so here's the thing when the players come out and they walk past the opposition team shaking their hands, have Gary out there just slapping them across the face when they come past. I don't know, something. Got to do something. Uncharacteristic defending. Millwall are known for being rock solid defensive outfit, but they've conceded 2 goals in each of the last 2 games. Swansea's goals were impressive, but once again they were avoidable, much like the ones at Bramall Lane and against Coventry on Saturday. If the Lions defend like that against Norwich on Friday, the scoreline could be anything. Yeah, what is happening with Hutchinson? So again, on the bench, someone has said, and I don't know if this is true, but we are kind of forced or hamstrung that we have to play Cresswell and Shackleton. I don't know if it's that because we have to play them a certain number of games, and if we don't, price goes up. We have to pay more, or maybe Gary Rout's thinking we'll have to play them for a certain number of games. If I play them at the start of the season, later on at the end of the season, I can play Hutchinson. I don't know what's going on there, but someone did say that that's something that might be the situation. Never say die. Millwall's come back against Coventry at the weekend was special, but this was an entire new level. The Lions looked dead and buried as the clock ticked into stoppage time. When the referee blew for full time, the Lions had somehow snatched a point in the unlikeliest of circumstances. Say what you want about the performance, but Millwall's character can't be denied. Exactly. If we could just learn to defend, we'd probably be top of the table and go as champions. But so let's move on to the manager's reactions. This is from Gary Rout. This is from NewZealand.co.uk. Millwall boss reacts to Swansea draw. Millwall boss Gary Rout criticised how his side started Tuesday's draw against Swansea, but praised them for their improvement in the second half. The Lions conceded inside the opening minute of the game and were 2-0 down just 11 minutes later. While they were able to nullify Swansea's attacking match as the game went on, they were unable to threaten in the final third. That was until stoppage time, when 2 own goals helped Millwall to pull off a stunning comeback and secure a valuable point from their 2-2 draw. It's football, isn't it? Rout told New Zealand after the match. 2-0 is 2-0, but just like we were 2-0 down on Saturday, if you can improve your performance and actually attempt to put the opposition under a little bit of pressure, it's like anything. Swansea, with the way they were set up, are very difficult to play against. They pass the ball so well, they create so much movement, so much possession, that the flip side is that you're perhaps not as strong defensively when you come under pressure. I said that to the players at half time. I've seen lots of games where leads have been narrowed by the opposition and they've been putting them under pressure. That's just how you set up. They're probably the best by a long way in terms of passing. You can give a team like that an easy lead to go 1-0 down after 1 minute, basically threw the tactical playbook out of the window, and everything we worked on was basically pointless at that moment. The second goal, again, there's one thing being compact. I saw Blackburn do it where they were compact and made it very difficult. They didn't allow easy opportunities to go and score. It's a great bit of skill from Obafemi, but he comes off us from 3 or 4 yards, turns 3 times and sticks it in the bottom corner. We have to be better than that. It's simple as that. Our defenders have to do their jobs to a much better level. Then I think we got a little bit better towards the end of the first half. We had a Stonewall penalty where Ryan Manning hacked Jacob down in the box, came straight through the back of him. I watched it 5 times. It's a clear penalty. Second half, Manning saves one with his hands. Another blatant penalty. I'm not just saying this. I've watched them back. There's another moment, but I don't think that was a penalty. I think it hits the lad's hand on the floor. It wasn't enough, but there were 2 clear penalties. We had to ride a little bit of luck because Swansea still opened you up at times and still create those moments of quality, but I felt at some point we had to really change it and put more pressure on Swansea. We did, and the end was the end. But was that self-inflicted? Russell Martin, Swansea manager, taking off probably their 2 best players, Joe Allen and Ryan Manning, and one of the geezers he brought on was one of the ones who scored the own goal. But he is deflecting, so what's happening here? So Russell Martin slams Swansea City player for playing a role in Mill's late 2-2 equaliser. So this is from LondonNewsOnline.co.uk. Russell Martin was livid with one of his Swansea City players after he gave Millwall the ball back quickly for a throw-in, which resulted in the Lions scoring. The South London club were 2 in the air, we know all about that. Martin was extremely disappointed after he felt one of his players aided one of the Millwall goals by throwing it back to them promptly from the bench. Martin said the ball goes out for a throw-in and one of our players not involved punches the ball back on the pitch. I'm absolutely furious about it. I've told him. That just can't happen. He punched the ball back to them to take a throw-in quickly, and we conceded a goal. Whether you're on the bench or whether you're not involved, you need to add value to the team somehow. That's certainly not adding value. We need to keep control of the game. Let's start with not giving the ball back to the opposition when it goes out for a throw, because they are the moments in this league where if that goes against us, I'm pretty sure it's getting hit into the stands. It takes a minute to get it back and the game's done. Everyone goes away feeling really good. For 93 or 94 minutes, we were by far and away the best team. Dominant, aggressive, everything we got criticised for against Blackburn, and rightly so in a lot of senses. The boys put that right tonight. We should score more goals. Millwall only had one shot on target before two of our defenders score an own goal. We should make more of our own chances in the final third. I have to take responsibility for it. I'm in charge of the mentality of the team. Even though we have so many young men on the pitch, we have to do better than we did. So he's all over the place there. Swansea were pretty good. I mean, they scored all 4 goals, so not bad. Sadly, 2 were at the wrong end. But yeah, like he's digging his player out. He's talking about Jamie Patterson, who's injured, but he was on the bench, and he's saying, oh, he punched the ball back onto the field of play, and now he's digging them out in the publicly because he's deflecting it on his substitutions, which, to be fair, probably they were the main result of Millwall getting involved in that and getting a draw from that game. So you should really be doing that in public. Not why tell everyone that happened and you said that. You tell them because you want them to know and focus on that rather than focus on substitutions that you had going on. So anyway, 2-2 draw, fantastic result. Over the moon. Wasn't after 30 minutes. I was very displeased, but absolutely jumping around at the end of the game. I don't know if you've seen it on Twitter. There's a video going around. Of course, people left early. They left early. They were in like McDonald's getting some food. And then they find out, oh, hang on, Millwall actually fucking scored 2 goals and it was a 2-2 draw, and they're all jumping around with the McDonald's in their hands. So that was fun. What a fun game. But can we actually try and keep a clean sheet next time? So literally we go again very quickly. We got one day off, Thursday, and then Friday we got Norwich away. Now Norwich absolutely struggled to beat, which is looking to be one of the worst teams in the league, Huddersfield. Today they beat them 2-1, and Huddersfield and the man sent off, I believe. So what's happening with Norwich? And that was at home. That was at Carrow Road as well. So it's working out for Norwich, isn't it? They got to play Tuesday and Friday, but they got 2 home games. We got to play Tuesday and Friday, but we've got a game at Swansea, one end of the country, and then Norwich at the other end of the country. Isn't that great? I hope we go to Norwich and fucking win just for them fucking us around on the schedule. And of course, that Norwich game will be on Sky Television, 8 p.m. kickoff Friday nights. So it wasn't just that game today. There was another game. The under-21s, as they are this season, they won 4-0, and it's looking like, to be honest with you, our under-21s is probably one of the best teams in the under-21 setup at our level. Doing very well. Millwall under-21s defeated Barnsley 4-0 in the Professional Development League on Tuesday afternoon. Seb Drost, Abdul Malik, and Nino Abdul Maliki were on target at the Den as Kevin Nugent's side made it 2 out of 2, 22-23. The scoring began as early as the 10th minute as Drost broke the deadlock before Abdul Malik doubled Mill's advantage 7 minutes later. After the break, the Tykes held out until the 75th minute until conceding again as Adam Malachi found the net before Droz got his second and the Lions' fourth 4 minutes from time. Next up for Millwall's under-21s is a trip to Birmingham City on Monday the 22nd of August. And there's the team: Gilmore, Smith, Adam Maliki, Muller, Grant, Ockley, Allen, Penny, Leahy, Abdul Malik, and Drozd. And the subs were Lawson coming on for Allen, 75th minute, Hearn coming on for Lee, 75th minute, and unused subs were Heavens, Walker, and Cotton. So there you go. How long before we have the fans clamouring for Seb Droz to play? We might get there. If we get another couple of injuries, might have to start looking at playing some of these. I don't know. It's getting a bit desperate. But there you go. Seb Droz there, scoring the double. And if you don't know him, he plays on the wing. So he plays right wing mainly. So he could be one of the attacking players playing up front on that inside right position. Now, I told you yesterday that they were collecting on the gate for car parking. And we now have this from Lionsfoodhub Twitter. Massive thank you to Karen Wilson, Mill SLO, Mill FC under-21s for donating all car park proceeds from the game today against Barnsley. £77.65 was raised. We really appreciate your help and a great result today. Well done, everyone. So there you go. Isn't that good? Moving on now to this. So, summer stadium tours for the junior Lions, I believe. 2 new dates just popped up. One is tomorrow, on Thursday the 18th, and one is on the 23rd of August. So just popped this up out of nowhere, just come out of nowhere. And if we look at the actual website, I think the one on the 18th is already sold out, because it is not listed here. So Junior Lion Tour, Tuesday the 23rd of August, 2 p.m. And I've told you about these before. Yeah, it's basically a tour of the den. There's the prices there. Junior tours are priced at £10 adults and £5 under 16s. You need to have a kid with you. You can't go as a solo adult, of course. But summer holidays, kids' holidays, you want something to do, there you go. And you can buy tickets by going on Mill Tickets website. Yeah, it's milltickets.com. By telephone this number, or just pop down there the ticket office if you're in and around the ground. And so there you have it. Now we're going to end today's video by talking about Bob Pearson. Today it was announced by Millwall Football Club that Bob Pearson has passed away today. This is the tweet they put out. Millwall Football Club is deeply saddened to hear of the passing of Bob Pearson. Bob, chief scout with the Lions, amongst many other roles, uncovered some of the club's greatest players across many years. Certainly had an eye for some footballing talent. This is well before your analytics, your Football Manager, Y Scout, and all of that other nonsense. He could tell you if a player was good or not just by watching him play, which is kind of revolutionary these days. They need a computer to tell you that, but Bob Pearson was the human computer, and back in the day, picked out many very good players. Tim Cahill, Richard Sadlier, Teddy Sheringham, Neil Harris. So apparently he signed Steve Claridge as well, about Mark Nagino, but on the say-so of Theo Paphias, because he was acting as Theo's kind of go-between because Theo didn't really know football. He's a businessman, but he confided in Bob and had him as his right-hand man, saying, asking him questions about the football inside. And we have here Theo's statement. Following the sad news about passing of Bob Pearson, Millwall backroom legend, my friend, and a football mentor, I have shared a few words below. I rehired Bob my first week as chairman of Millwall FC, as for me, he was a Millwall backroom legend. Not only was he chief scout during my time, but also my mentor when it came to players. He was an exceptional man with an exceptional football eye. We would never have reached our achievements without him. The club and I owe him a great debt, and he will be forever in my thoughts and have a place in my heart. Rest in peace, my friend. Now you are reunited with your beloved Margaret. Theo. So there you go, and Tim Cahill as well. Very sad to hear the passing of this gentleman. He played a big part in bringing me to England and to play for Millwall. My heart goes out to his family and be forever grateful for his guidance and friendship. There you have it, Tim Cahill there. And we have this piece here from Richard Sadler from the Irish Independent, independent.ie. This is a very old story. It's from 2013. Richard Sadler. No club can hope to prosper without an Uncle Bob. So we're just going to have a quick read of this, and this is going to be the last thing for this video. There are certain people I always mention when I'm asked to reflect on my playing career, whether teammates, managers, physios or friends. These are the people I immediately recall when I think of the experiences I feel so grateful to have had. And if I had to single out one person whose influence is greatest, I always speak about Ray Arford. Ray was an outstanding coach and a great bloke, and many of my fondest memories involve him. I particularly remember our final conversation on the park bench at the training ground. He died from cancer a few weeks later, and I retired 3 weeks after that. He is the one I always talk about. There was someone else who had even more of an influence, without me fully appreciating it at the time. At Millwall, he was known as Uncle Bob. Bob Pearson had a variety of titles during my time there. He was a youth development officer when I first signed in 1996. He was chief scout for a while, and before I left he was assistant to the chairman. Regardless of his job description though, I'm only now starting to understand the value of what he did. With the exception of a brief spell away from Millwall, he was the one constant during a period when there were several managerial changes, including 2 joint managers. There were 5 different men in charge of the first team during my first 18 months in senior football. And when you're a young player trying to make your way in that environment, it helps that somebody is there long enough to monitor your progress. We weren't exactly sure of his role, but we knew that some signings were made because of him. We knew there were players sold because of his say-so. We knew for sure how much of an influence he had on the promotion of young players into the first team squad. I know I was in the starting lineup on several occasions purely because of his input, and I know he was responsible for other young players advancing to the first team and staying there. Without being given the title or the recognition, he was acting as a type of director of football, a role which was unheard of in English football at the time. Above all, because his job wasn't dependent on results, he could make decisions which were in the long-term interest of the club. He wasn't driven by short-term success or the fear of failure, 2 things which can dramatically change how a person goes about doing their job. And in England right now, that's exactly what is hampering so many managers. It's rare to find managers so secure in their job they can afford to be patient with kids, unless someone else is there to oversee their transition into first team players. That is unlikely to change anytime soon. Bob performed that role at Millwall, and he was hugely successful at it. He was able to use his influence with a succession of managers to help a number of academy players gain first team experience. 6 of us from that period went on to win international caps, an extraordinary return for a club of Millwall's financial resources. But the most obvious example of Bob's influence came in January 1997. I had just turned 18 and I was miserable. I was homesick and I didn't want to stay in London any longer. I didn't think I was making any progress in the youth team and didn't fancy wasting any more time chasing a dream I thought would never materialise. I phoned my family to let them know. Amazingly, things took a positive turn within 48 hours. I was called into the first team squad and I made my debut at the Den the following day. Years later, I realised my mother took matters into her own hands and let it be known what I was thinking. Bob took care of the rest. It's an unconventional route into the first team football, but it was made possible by the presence of Bob and the role he was there to carry out. It takes long-term thinking and patience to develop young talent. A few managers have the security to do that. They certainly don't have the time to take calls from players' mums. So there you have it. Richard Sadlier phoned home, said, "I'm sick of this, I want to come home." His mum called up Bob Pearson, and Bob got Richard Sadlier in the Matchday squad for the next game. And he made his debut. And that's it. That's all it took. Interesting stuff there. So Bob Pearson passing away today. And on that note, rest in peace, Bob, and thank you for watching.